Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeff Shepard with Take Charge, brought to you by PowerOfPurposeRadio.com, where it is our mission to motivate, educate, and elevate our listeners. I am just so glad that you have decided to join us tonight. You could be anywhere, literally on the internet, but you have decided to make a place here with Power of Purpose Radio and Take Charge. And for that, I am so thankful and grateful for your presence. Man, it's just been a wonderful week of opportunity, and I'm just so elated to be here in our new studio. And I just want to make sure that I really speak to the needs of our listeners, because we spend so much time talking about uplifting. We spend so much time talking about success, and these are all great things to discuss. But a lot of times we tend to focus on the tip of the iceberg. Right, we focus on what's right in front of us, but we don't even realize that 90% of the iceberg lies under the water. So today I want to kind of come from an opposite angle here and just talk about why we fail, because if we can't even understand why we fail, it may be that much harder to think that we can be successful. So just think about this. A lot of times we put success on this pedestal. A lot of times we look at the end and we never really look at the steps that it took for someone to actually gain that success. You know, this quote has been said a lot of times in the past, but it holds so true. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever to play the game, had to fail his way forward. He had to actually fail before he found the desire to become the Michael Jordan that we know today. But we look at Michael Jordan as this phenom of basketball, this grandmaster of the basketball court, so to speak, but we don't realize the hard work that it took to actually get there. In fact, he was actually cut from his high school basketball team. And from there, that desire grew, his passion grew, and he attracted those necessary elements to propel him to greatness. And tonight, I'd like to do the same for you, because there is greatness in you. There is success in you. There is unlimited potential in you. And you have to understand, one, that you have that potential, and then two, what is actually stopping you. So tonight I really want to discuss on why so many people actually fail. And I don't want to, condescend anybody. I mean, just going through life, as long as you're happy, as long as you're doing the things that make you happy and bring you joy, then you know what? Great for you. But I'm talking about those listeners that are just sick and tired of being tired. They want more out of life. And let's first of all define what success is. Success is just the consistent progression towards a worthy goal or ideal. So that's the first step. And when I think about that in my life, do I have a goal that I'm consistently working towards? And the answer is yes. But if you had asked me 2-3 years ago, the answer would have been no. I would have just told you I'm going to work, getting up, going to work to make money, going to work to pay the bills. There was really no angle. There was really no goal. So success is the person that decides to do something because they choose to do it. Success is that teacher who is teaching because they actually enjoy it. They desire to be it. Success is that stay-at-home mom who stays at home because she wants to, and she has goals and aspirations, and she enjoys being there. So success doesn't have one shape or one form. But why do we fail? Now, bear with me a little bit, because you may disagree with this, but I'm going to make sure that I explain it to you. We fail because we choose to. Plain and simple. We fail because we choose to. Now, I don't believe that anyone actually plans to fail in life, but we do fail to plan, which is just as bad. I think about in high school and, unfortunately even college, when I failed some courses, and I was thinking about this message and going back in the past and thinking about why I failed. And there was actually one particular math class, it was math, that I consistently failed year after year after year. And it actually brought a lot of consequences. I had to take remedial courses in college, and it actually prevented me from graduating on time. But let's go back to the beginning. When I was first in that course, I didn't put my all into it. I wasn't interested in the math. I had no goal. I was just going to class to go to class. I was just going to be with my friends. I didn't put the hard work that it took. Didn't do my homework assignments. Most of all because I didn't understand the homework assignments. And if anybody has been in Algebra 2 for the first time, then I'm sure you could agree, some of those assignments are challenging, and I didn't even begin. I didn't even do it. And the worst part about it was I didn't seek out the knowledge or the help that I needed in order to succeed. I stayed in my shell. I started to justify why I was failing, and I started to justify why I didn't need this course. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what I want to talk to you about tonight, because it's not that we plan to fail, but we do choose to fail. We choose to not plan our success. And if we're not doing that, then by definition, we are planning for failure, because if you're not moving towards success, whether you're conscious or unconscious of it, you are gradually moving towards failure. And I want you to understand this, because the power of choice has always been and will always be with your decisions. So why do we choose to fail, whether it's conscious or unconscious? Now, there are many factors. But the two main reasons that we unconsciously choose to fail is, one, our choices. And those choices develop into patterns. And those patterns are what chokes the success. See, when I was in high school and I began to fail math, I was a decent math student, wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. But when I actually started to fail those courses, I started to doubt myself. I started to think of reasons why I couldn't do it instead of why I could. I started to neglect certain things that would propel me to be successful in that course. Instead of going towards that, instead of studying or finding a tutor, I filled those times with watching TV and hanging out with my friends. So the patterns that I developed around the math class actually propelled me for failure, not success. And it's so hard to see because you're actually in that moment. But if you just take a step back, if you're one of those people, like I was, who is just sick and tired of being tired, we're living the same pattern day in and day out, what I strongly suggest you do is take a step back and look at your patterns. Michael Jackson said, "The man in the mirror." I'm asking you to make a change. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. And it's so hard to do that because our society conditions us to look everywhere else but the true source of our power, which is inside you. If you really want to go towards success, you must first look at the patterns that you have created around you. Those patterns could be friendships, they could be activities, they could even be just your thinking. When I used to teach and I would console with students, they would give me so many reasons why they couldn't do something instead of giving me just one or two strong reasons why they could. And the fact that they focused on the negativity, the fact that they focused on what they couldn't do, they literally froze their progress. Are you freezing your progress based on your patterns? That's the question I want you to ask. And I want you to take that hard look in the mirror because it's not easy. A year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I took a look in that mirror and I did not like what I saw. I did not like the man that I had become. I did not like the husband that I was becoming. I didn't like the father that I was becoming. Not to say I didn't have my good moments. And see, that's the trick. Don't confuse good moments with success. Don't confuse the temporary good for the greater good, because life will tell you that the greater good is going to come with sacrifice. The greater good is going to come with pain. The greater good is going to come with some sort of sacrifice. But if you're just living life to live by, if you're just trying to be comfortable, if you're just getting by just to get by, that truly isn't your success. Again, success is moving towards a worthy goal or ideal. So if you really want to make that change, if you really want to focus in a new direction, you must first start with your plan. Now, if I were to ask you right now, and I'm going to go easy on you, okay? My mentor didn't go easy on me, but I'm going to go easy on you. If I asked you to show me your year's life plan right now, what would you show me? No, I'm going to wait. Literally, go to your journal, go to wherever you write things down, and I want you to be able to show me what your year plan, your year goal for your life is. Now, I'm willing to bet that many of my listeners don't even have that plan, and that's part of the problem, because if your plan isn't written, then it truly doesn't exist. Now, you can tell me or you can tell anyone all of these great ideas, all of these grand ideas, but unless it's written down, unless you're progressively moving towards that goal, it doesn't exist. You know, one of my dear friends and my mentors, Mr. Kevin White, he says something all the time, and it's so funny. I didn't get it when we first met over a year ago, but I get it even more and more every day and every day. He says, the things in life that we truly desire most often elude us because we don't really want them. We just say we do. See, saying that you want something and actually desiring it, actually taking the action, the discipline that it takes to actually get it, that's two things that are completely different. Saying you want something and doing something is completely different. You know, my wife used to always tell me, Jeff, I don't want to hear the words. I want to see the action. And life is the same way. Life doesn't want to hear your words. They want to see your action. And life is forgiving. It really is. But if you're just standing still, letting things, pass by, then that's exactly what life is going to give you. If you're choosing the patterns of mediocrity, then life is going to give you more mediocrity. But all you need to do is make one slight adjustment, one small change in the right direction, and life can open up so many doors that you didn't even realize existed. It's waiting for you to make a change. But in order for you to move from failing to succeeding, you must have a goal. Now, let's talk about a goal, because right now you may be thinking, well, Jeff, I don't have any goals, or I'm not sure what I should be going for. And that, again, is a sad truth of our reality. We spend so much time, especially in our younger years, trying to meet the demands of society, trying to meet the demands of the world, that we forget to focus on ourselves. So if you don't even have a goal, you really need to take some time. Take some time to sit down with yourself. Take some time to look in the mirror. What do you really want? Because like I said earlier, success is just consistently moving towards a goal. Your success does not have to be the success you see on TV, yet that's the picture that we hold in our brains. Oh, I have to be like this person. Oh, I have to be like that person. Oh, if I want to be successful, I have to drive this car. I have to have this amount of money in the bank. I need to be going to these places. If I want my marriage to be successful, it has to look like this. If I want my job to be successful, I have to show up like this. That's not true. If you want to be successful in life, hear me now. If you want to be successful in life in any area, all you really need to do is show up with you, being your best you. But if you don't even begin to start developing that, if you don't even realize that you have even greater power than where you are right now, I don't care if you're a bum on the street, I don't care if you're a doctor, you have more greatness in you right now than you did yesterday. You have a purpose that is bigger than where you are right now. See, a lot of times we we get on the elevator of life, so to speak. The elevator can take us to any height that we want. There are infinite levels, but a lot of times we choose to get off on our own floors. We choose to get on the floor of comfortability. We choose to get on the floor of mediocrity, and then we stay there. You know, if you were going to Florida, as a matter of fact, I can even give myself an example. A couple years ago, me and my family, we took a road trip down to Florida, and again, we had a goal. We wanted to go to Disney World, right? That goal was very clear, so clear we could visualize it. We were telling our kids that this is where we're going. They're so excited. We took the action. We bought the tickets. We got the hotel. We got the rental car, and we saved up. We budgeted our money so that we could actually make this trip. Now, here we are. We're leaving Maryland to Florida. Now, how am I going to get there? I'm going to take 95. Now, there are other routes, but I'm going to take 95. Now, if I wanted to get to Florida, I wouldn't take 83 to get, to go through Pennsylvania. I want to go to the straightest route possible, right? So I'm going to take 95. Now, as I'm driving down 95, am I going to just get straight to my goal tomorrow or in an hour? Absolutely not. I've got to drive. I've got to go through different cities. In fact, when the gas gets low, I have to take a stop for gas, right? But just because I stop for gas does not mean I have to stay in that place. Just because I need to stop to go to the bathroom or get food doesn't mean that I have to stay in that place. Now, let's go back to your life. See, some of you wanted your life to go to Florida. You wanted to be somewhere else, but you took a pit stop and stayed there. You took a pit stop, and that pit stop became your destination. No, your pit stop doesn't need to be your destination. Keep your goal focused on where you want to go, and any road that you take will consistently take you to your destination. See, if you want to get somewhere, you have to be so focused, so intent that every move that you make is moving you closer to that. But so many times we take that pit stop. So many times we want that manager job, but we take this one job here and we become comfortable. That becomes our destination, and we never fulfill our true intention. And we wonder why life gets so crazy. We wonder why we feel so unfulfilled. That's because you turned a pit stop into a destination, and that's not the way it was supposed to go. I really want to make sure that we capture this point here of having a clear, defined goal that is for you. I can't stress this enough. You cannot look to anyone else for this answer but you and God. It has to come from you. What is your greater goal? Great, you have a good job. Wonderful. How can you help someone else? How can you become better? What can you give back? You don't have a great job. No problem. What are the steps that you can take to get that better job? Or maybe, guess what? Maybe it's not meant for you to have a job. Maybe it's meant for you to be a counselor. Maybe it's meant for you to own a business. Maybe it's meant for you to be a mentor. What is your goal? And a couple of years ago, like I said, when I finally found that goal, I did something crazy. I just jumped off the cliff and I started building the wings and the plane as I'm falling down. I don't suggest you do that because I'll tell you that road is not easy, and it really isn't. When you find a goal, regardless of what pit stop you are at, regardless of where you are in life, you can come from that pit stop to your destination. You don't have to just throw everything away to work towards your purpose. You can take many steps, micromanage your time. This is why you must develop that plan. If you don't have a plan for the next year of your life, even if you are where you are, if you don't have a plan to take you from where you are to where you can be, then you are unconsciously choosing to fail. What is success when we break it down? Success is growth. Success is growth. Nature is intended to grow. So if you are not consistently growing, then you are, by definition, failing. You are dying. If you're not growing, you are dying. Continue to grow. We get so complacent where we are in life that we forget that we are to aspire to become more every day. Regardless if you realize this or not, someone is looking at you for inspiration. Someone is looking at you for guidance, and you're unconsciously giving them permission to do the same thing that you're doing. So to really bring home the point, if you had a child, or if you had a person that you were mentoring, would you want them to have the exact reflection of your life? And if you answer no, then you really need to sit back and take a look at the patterns that you have created. Because if you can't give your life to someone else, if you can't mentor someone to have the same desire or the same life as you, then you may want to start checking where you are. As parents, we always say that we want our kids to do better, and that's true in a sense, but it's also an excuse. My mother, bless her heart, she was pregnant with me, and actually she was taking care of me as a young child, and an opportunity arose for her to actually be a newscaster. And she was teaching at the time. She took her interview. The news loved her, okay? And they offered her a job, but this job was actually in California. And she would have to travel to California to actually take this. And she thought about me. And I love her for that. I really do. I love her for, thinking of me. But at the same time, she chose comfortability instead of what she truly could be. Now, don't get me wrong. She had a great career as a teacher. She loved what she did, so she still found her passion. But at the same time, just imagine what could have been if she had just made that choice. I would have grown up okay. I would have grown up just fine. So don't use your excuses as crutches or reasons why you should fail. Don't pass your failures on to the next generation, because you may want better for your child. You may want better for your students, but if you're not becoming better, then they're not aspiring to be better. If you're not constantly growing, you can't expect someone else to grow past you. They may, but you're leaving it up to chance, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to leave your life up to chance. You want to leave your life by design. I'm going to say that again. You don't want to leave your life. You want to lead by design. You don't want to leave things unsaid, undone. You don't want to leave things without your impression on it. You want to make sure that you are doing everything that you can to leave your imprint on this earth, and whatever it may be, in whatever area, there is a place for your success. Don't choose failure. As I come to a close, I really want to just focus on the pattern, because that is something that you may be so caught up in the pattern that you don't even realize it. And that's success and failure is a habit. Either way you go. Success is a habit. Failure is a habit. So if you are feeling like life is pulling you in a direction, if you're feeling like you're not being fulfilled, then it's the habits that you choose. I'm going to be totally transparent, because guess what? I'm making my stand right now. I've got another goal in mind, and I'm going to make sure that I succeeded. Something that has been just haunting me and just been over my head is lateness, and that's not something that you want to do when you're aspiring to be great, okay? So at first it was just on the job, right? Okay, I might be late, and we're not talking drastically late here. We're talking maybe 5-10 minutes, but nonetheless, late is late. And instead of fixing that early, okay, instead of fixing that when I was a minor, what did I start doing? I started to make excuses. I started to justify my lateness by telling myself, well, better late than never, right? Or, I'm going to get there when I get there, and when I get there is when I should be there. See, I was unconsciously starting a habit. I was unconsciously starting a pattern of thinking. And it was so small, so insignificant. It was so easy to justify that, right? I mean, look, I'm living my life. I've got X, Y, and Z to do. And, who cares if I'm 5 minutes late? Who cares if I'm 10 minutes late? But see, it doesn't stop there. When you start to form a habit, it starts to go into so many different areas in your life. It starts to spread. See, a habit doesn't just stay. Look, a habit knows success. A habit starts to grow because it knows that in order for it to succeed, and for it to thrive, it has to grow. It has to grow into other areas. So I started being late in other areas. Okay, started being late, not just on the job. Started being late to dates or to certain appointments, right? And those latenesses will start to add up. It will start to eat at you. And what was I feeling as I was late? I was feeling stress. I was feeling worry. I was feeling rushed. All negative thinking. And it's so powerful. And I think it goes over a lot of people's head. We talk about positive thinking, and you shouldn't think negative. I think a lot of people think that negative thinking means, oh, I hate myself, or something really drastic, and that's not the negative thinking that I'm talking about. Okay, now that is negative thinking, but if you are not thinking positively on a situation, then by definition you are thinking negatively. If you're not thinking about being fulfilled, if what you're thinking about doesn't excite you and bring a smile to your face and bring you joy, then by very definition, you're thinking negatively. So a lot of people may think that when they're rushing, that's not negative thinking. It is. Are you happy when you're rushing? Now, look, if you're a NASCAR driver and you're rushing across the racetrack, that's something completely different. Hey, great. You're actually living in your passion. You found a way to take that feeling and actually get success. But the masses don't feel like that. When you are running late, do you feel successful? When you haven't performed your best at your job, or if you haven't prepared yourself for a report and it's time to give that report, do you feel successful? Are you showing up every day to the best of your ability? And it's not easy. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not easy. But by not going the easy road, by not doing what the masses do, you will get what the masses never have. You will become that Michael Jordan in your life. People will be talking about you. People will be coming to you for whatever gift you have. Michael Jordan is set for life. His kids' are set for life. His kids' are set for life. Why? Because he chose the hard way. He chose success over failure, with the understanding that in order to get to success, you must go through failure. In closing, this reminds me of a young student that I had, and she really, and I mean, this is fourth grade, so I understand that mentality at that age is different from an adult's mentality. But she wanted to stop arguing with her friends. She wanted to have better friendships. She wanted to not feel as if she was being picked on, because she even admitted to me in confidence that she was sensitive. And she was always in a mix of drama, so to speak, always in arguments, always being talked to the teacher about talking or hanging with the wrong crowd, and it frustrated her because she desired more. She knew she was capable of more. And I sat down and I talked to her, and I told her, I said, well, let's look at the patterns that you've created. When someone tells you something, what is the first reaction you have? And through some talking, I was able to get her to see that the very first action she takes is negative. She feels if someone says something, it's a problem. She already has it in her mind that if someone calls her name, that they're calling it for a negative reason, therefore she has to react negatively. And what I was able to show her was that through that cycle, she was creating the very same negativity that she didn't want. She knew she was sensitive, so as a way to deflect that, or as a way to combat her sensitiveness, she felt that she had to act tough. She had to act aggressive. But every time she acted aggressively, she brought the same feeling that would hurt her feelings. And it was this vicious cycle that she was continuing. And I told her, I said, look, you're young, you're beautiful, you're talented. You are destined to be greater than where you are now. But if you aren't able to see past this cycle, you will continue to get more. And I told her it was going to be a hard road. And she started to make progress. It wasn't easy. She would come to me crying sometimes. She would come to me saying, Mr. Shepherd, it's hard. I really want to tell this person, give this person a piece of my mind. And I told her to just have patience, have strength, have resolve, keep that goal. I started telling her, picture herself in that stress-free environment. She said that every time someone called her name, she felt negatively. Picture people calling your name, and it's for good reasons. It's for positive. It's for positive rewards. It's to give you some kind of uplift. Keep the prize and the goal in your mind. And don't you know, she graduated 5th grade with honors. She went to a private school that she actually chose to go to. Her parents supported her. She's doing so well. In fact, I just heard, actually through Facebook, we kind of lost touch, but I did see on Facebook she graduated high school with great rewards. I can just tell that she's living a positive life. Now, I'm not sitting there saying that it's because of what I did. It's not. It's because she had a goal. She chose to go the hard road, and she found success through that. Where's your goal? Where is your success? Because your success lies just beyond the brink of failure. Your success lies just beyond the brink of failure. But in order to get past that point, you must have a goal that will see you through the hard times. You must have a goal that's going to break those bad habits. You know, I have a goal that I really want to be able to uplift and help people and be a shining example of how you can take yourself from one place in life to another. So my desire is so great, I can't be late. I won't be. I just can't, because how can I give permission for someone else to be successful if deep in my mind I know there's certain areas that I need to work on? Have yourself a goal that is so strong, so powerful, it's going to get you through those hard times. You know, in closing, and this is the last point I'm going to make, they say that a mother can harness unimaginable strength if her child is in jeopardy, if her child is hurt. There was actually a report saying where a mother actually lifted a car off the wheels, not Superman, but off the wheels enough to get their son out of the wedge between the wheel and the concrete. See, when you have a desire that's so strong, when you have a will that's so strong, you can create anything. You can have a superpower that you didn't even realize you existed. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have the success and the greatness that is definitely meant for you to achieve. I want you to see the greatness in you and see the greatness in others and be able to help people, because that's what it's about. But you can't grow people, you can't get success until you become success, until you start to grow as a person. So, like Michael Jackson said, I urge you to look in the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to make that change. Change your patterns. Because if you feel unsuccessful, if you feel unhappy, if you feel unfulfilled, you can no longer say it's for any other reason but your choice. Thank you so much tonight. It's been a great pleasure to be here in front of you. It's so fulfilling to share my story and to share my conquest with you, because I truly feel that that's my calling, is to help others see the greatness in themselves. And please make sure that you continue to come back. We actually have a lot of guests lining up. Our next guest will actually be an author. She not only an author, but now she teaches other people how to become an author. Another former teacher, just another example of how when you find your passion, people will find you. When you can mix work and play together, that's a passion destined for greatness. Look, until next week, this is Jeff from Take Charge. Make sure that you take charge of your circumstances, take charge of your finances, take charge of your life. I'll see you next week. Take care.